Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make energy bites. And so this is a healthy-ish snack. It's not the healthiest energy bites ever. They're not like those breakfast cookies we made that were ridiculously healthy. These are somewhat healthy, but they're kind of fun because they're little balls of deliciousness. So today we're going to do that. So to start out with, you're going to have a large mixing bowl with a spoon, and you're going to start out with 1 cup of rolled oats. The recipe calls for old-fashioned oats, and so you probably want to use that. They're healthier for you. They're high in fiber, and they're better for you than quick oats. So 1 cup of rolled oats. And then it also calls for a tablespoon of chia seeds. Chia seeds are high in protein. Any seeds are high in protein, so that's going to be good for you. The oats, too, are soluble fiber that is great for digestion, so that's awesome for you. And then 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and I always use natural peanut butter, so that's what we've got there. When you buy natural peanut butter, it has all that oil on the top. I buy the big jar at Costco, and I run it through the mixer. I just dump the whole mess in the mixer and mix it up so that slick of oil isn't there anymore, because it's just, it's too much to deal with every time I use it. So that's something you might consider if you have clean jars to put it in. And then it called for, I'm embarrassed to say, but it called for 1/2 cup of flax seeds. I'm sorry, I didn't have flax seeds. I thought I did, and as I went to put this together this morning, I'm like, what's like flax seeds? Again, use your resources. If there's something else you have that's kind of like that, it'll probably work. Flax seeds are nice because they're high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are the good kind of fat that lowers your blood cholesterol. However, I don't have any, so I'm using almond flour, which is basically just almonds that are ground up really fine. And what you'll find is that that's going to work pretty much equivalently, and it's got lots of good nutrients in the almonds as well, and it has the healthy kind of fat. So I think it's a pretty even equivalent. The 2 ingredients that are not so healthy there's honey, and honey is going to raise your blood sugar. So again, you want to limit the amount of honey that you consume because your body does think it's like sugar. And so 1/3 cup of honey. And then for the coconut, it says to toast your coconut. And so, it says 2/3 cup toasted coconut flakes. Well, lots of times you might try to, if you're not experienced cooking, you might say, I don't know where to even buy that. So you toast it yourself. You put them in a frying pan, and you just put it on really low heat until the coconut starts to get a light golden brown. And so once you've done that, it can just go in your dish as well. And then our last ingredients, we got 2 more, chocolate chips, and we've got vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and add the vanilla. When a recipe calls for chocolate chips, get everything else mixed first and then mix in the chocolate chips. That way your chocolate chips don't get broken and destroyed. And one thing that I found with this recipe that it doesn't call for is if it ends up being too dry after you're mixing all the ingredients, then you might want to add a little bit of water. The batch I made earlier this morning, I put 2 tablespoons of water. This doesn't seem too bad because I also let my peanut butter come to room temperature. The other batch, the peanut butter had been in the fridge, and so it was really hard to stir. So my ingredients need to be all the way blended together so that you can't see any difference. And everything looks the same. Oh my gosh, the peanut butter is starting to ooze out its delightful smell. Oh, this is amazing. Nice. Oh, this is going to be good. And then our chocolate chips. And honestly, I think that more chocolate the better, for flavor, but I actually think this recipe calls for too much. I'm just going to add them all. If there's ever, you can always cut back on chocolate chips if you'd like it to be healthier. I think you can also cut back on the honey, and it would be totally fine. To me, that seems like this recipe just has too much chocolate chips. But again, if that delights you, and it still is a healthier alternative to cookies. And so one of my favorite websites is Healthy-ish by Bon Appetit. And so the recipes aren't the most healthy, but they're healthier than a lot of other recipes. And so that's kind of a cool way to go, is just to always aim for healthy-ish recipes. And if some of your recipes are crazy healthy, fantastic. And then if a very few are not so healthy, that's fine as well. Okay, so our dough is mixed up and looks like that. And I'm gonna pull the one out of the fridge that I already made. And yep, perfect. Okay, so I have a pan of a baking sheet here and a piece of parchment paper. You wouldn't necessarily have to use a baking sheet and parchment paper. You could do it just on a plate if you wanted to, and that would also work out fine. I realized I didn't turn on all the lights this morning. It's kind of dark for you guys. Anyway, that's okay. So you can choose how big you want them. If you want to make balls and then to roll them in something like sprinkles, again, sprinkles are pure sugar, so that would be a choice, but maybe not the healthiest. You could also roll them in coconut, or you could chop up nuts, or you could even have mini chocolate chips and roll them in. You might want to go smaller. If you want more like where you just want to eat one big ball of deliciousness, then you could go with the big scoop. So let's try the big scoop and see what we have. If you want it just a one bite wonder, then you probably want the smaller scoop. So you're just going to scoop it up. Oh my gosh. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. My husband's going to love this. He's going to think I'm the greatest wife in the whole world. I might be. Just kidding. Okay. Anyway, you just roll them up into balls. And make sure they look pretty, because again, this is the last thing that's going to happen to them. You're not going to do anything else to them. And make these beautiful energy bites. And then they're just going to go back in the fridge just a little bit to finish firming up. And then this would be a nifty thing, like if you wanted to bring some to eat for lunch at school. If you were going on a hike and you wanted, instead of energy bars, you could actually make your own energy bites. And this would be a great thing to make. If you're one of the people who hates coconut, oh, there are people who hate coconut. Well, don't use coconut, use something else. Again, find what delights you. And so this is the kind of recipe where it's not going to hurt anything to substitute out your ingredients. So give me just a moment to pause and let me get a plate out of the pantry to show you what they look like on a plate. So when you plate things, always try to make them look nice. Energy bites aren't that, they're not going to look perfect on a plate. They're just balls of dough. They're delicious. And again, they're safe to eat because there's no flour, there's no sugar or anything like that. And so this is what we got, is our energy bites.